Hillman, and I'm a nurse practitioner. I'm a neonatal nurse practitioner, and I work at the University of Illinois at Chicago Hospital in the neonatal ICU. And I help take care of sick babies. A lot of the babies that we see are premature. When premature babies are born, they are born before their bodies are fully developed. So there are certain things that they can't do that a full-term baby can do. One of the things is regulate their temperature. They come out with very little fat on their body and they're very tiny. So one of the things we do is we put them in these incubators, or also called isolettes, and that keeps the baby warm. Premature baby's skin is so thin it lets water out. And if we don't keep the humidity high in the isolette, then the baby can get very dehydrated because all the water just escapes out the skin. The other thing we do with the babies is they have little monitors on their feet. And if this were a real baby, it would be measuring how much oxygen the baby has in its bloodstream. Because one of the big problems that babies have when they're born prematurely is their lungs are very immature. The ventilator. Babies who are born prematurely have a lot of trouble breathing because the air sacs in their lungs are not fully developed. They also have poor muscle strength, so the muscles that help the lungs go in and out aren't fully developed, and so they have trouble. To overcome that, we use a ventilator like this one, and the ventilator pushes air through this tubing, and then in the baby there would be a tube down into the throat, and this would attach and would help the baby breathe. So some of the causes of premature birth are any kind of trauma that happens to the woman who's pregnant can cause contractions to start, and if the labor and delivery team isn't able to stop the contractions, then that could cause a preterm birth. Another cause of premature birth is called preeclampsia. It's also sometimes called toxic pregnancy. That's when the body starts, the liver specifically, starts making too much of certain chemicals, and for the mom's health, we have to deliver the baby early because it can cause seizures and brain damage in the mom. And it also can affect the baby. So having a premature baby in a family can have a large impact. Babies who are born premature often stay close to what their delivery day was. So if you think about a baby who was born 3 months early, that means that baby's going to be in the NICU for 3 months, and possibly even longer depending on how well the baby does. It can also have a financial burden, and just for transportation, getting back and forth to the hospital. Then the hospital bills can be very expensive. Depending on what goes on with the baby, it can be even $1 million. That's for a baby who gets very sick while in the hospital. Luckily, insurance, Medicaid covers a lot of that, but it doesn't cover everything. And there's a lot of emotional impact too. The baby can have long-term effects, and that can be heartbreaking for a family, and it can affect the family for the rest of that child's life. If there's a mental disability or physical disability. So premature babies, there's a large cost to the family. It's amazing to see these babies, how much they thrive and grow once they're discharged from the hospital, and they change, and they sometimes they don't change. Sometimes they come back and they have the same personality that they did when they were this small. If they were feisty, they're still feisty. But you see these babies who had all these strikes against them. The lungs were bad. The heart wasn't working great for a while. Maybe the kidneys weren't working. And then a couple years later, they come back to visit and they walk in and they're happy and they're running around just like any other baby. So the March of Dimes is a great organization. The history of the March of Dimes is that they were originally raising money to help find a cure for the polio disease. And as many of you probably know, we found a vaccine and polio has nearly been wiped out. So when that happened, the March of Dimes changed their objective and decided to start helping premature babies. And it's been great for us in the NICU community because they do a lot of fundraising and a lot of research. And they also spread a lot of awareness about how to prevent premature births. So some of the ways that you can prevent a premature birth is mom has to take care of herself. That means eating well, staying hydrated, no drugs, no smoking, trying to stay away from people who are sick so that she herself doesn't get sick, and just trying to be as stress-free as possible, as much as you can be while you're pregnant. And really that's the best way that a premature birth can be prevented. And recently what we've learned is that it's very important for babies to stay inside mom for the full 9 months. For a while there was a thought that maybe we could induce labor early if mom was uncomfortable towards the end of pregnancy. But what we've learned is those babies ended up not doing very well, having some respiratory problems because they weren't fully developed. So that's one of the big pushes that the March of Dimes has right now, is that your pregnancy needs to be the full 9 months. And that's the best thing for the baby. It's important to know about premature babies, for the public to know, so that women take care of themselves during pregnancy, and so that preventable reasons for prematurity can be prevented. And it's also good to know that we're out there. There's a lot of research that still needs to be done on premature babies, and it's important for people to know that we're trying, but we're still working on it. Even in the last 20 years, it's amazing the strides that we've made, and so supporting research for premature babies is important. But I think the most important is for women to take good care of themselves while they're pregnant, so that we can try to reduce the number of babies that end up in the NICU.